Okay, what's up? I'm back. What's up, everybody? This is Bullish Bears Dan again, coming to you live. I'm in the trade room, but I'm also on YouTube today. It is Tuesday, and there is some good stuff going on in the markets. We got some nice gappers leading with some high volume. We're going to take a look at those. They're kind of low float. There's some short squeezing going on, but we're also going to take a look at our watch list. So I got kind of a little special blend going on today, a little mix and match. I'm going to share my 6 chart setup. This is something I look at throughout the day. This chart might evolve and change a little bit here and there with what indicators I have on it and what symbols populate it, but essentially while I am trading, I dedicate a screen to this little grid, and I can kind of keep an eye. And I love to look at 5-minute setups, draw my trend lines, find my momentum moving averages and patterns, and then try to figure out where the heck am I going to place my trade, where's my profit target, where's my stop. First one I want to talk about. Oh, shout out to Stocks. Yes, Stocks is here. You guys might hear him bark. So Lone Wolf in the trade room just said shout out to Stocks. For those of you on YouTube that don't know, I do have a dog named Stocks, and he is on Instagram. He's a really cool dog. He is a Yorkie Poo. Let me see if I can grab a picture right here. You guys want to see something really cute? That is Stocks the dog right there, and he's home. He might come in and say hello and yap a little bit, so if you guys hear that, it's just him saying hi. Yeah, he's super cute. Alright, so now let's not talk about Stocks the dog, but Stocks the stocks. The first one I want to take a look at is CHEK. So CHEK, nice gain on a catalyst. The company basically reported some results from a approval study of its C-scan. So essentially, when these type of stocks get these type of news catalysts, it's a reason for people to buy. And you can see we've got some really decent volume bars on the 5-minute chart. We got a nice little gap up. This is actually the 50 SMA range, and I believe the 100 SMA. I marked those out quickly this morning on the daily chart. This thing's been trading in a massive descending triangle, okay? And you can see here's the 50 and the 100. They're kind of like almost pinching. Well, actually the 100's right. Well, they pinched. 50 crossed over to the downside, and you always want to mark out. So that 200 is resting right at 281. So you want to mark out 281 in advance. That's going to move really slow. You know, maybe it'll move a penny today or something like that. And you can see, bam, you know, we hit just above 281. That's that 200 SMA, and we pulled back. So now a lot of different patterns could form. We don't really know yet what this is going to form. This could form a cup and handle. This could form a falling wedge, a little mini descending triangle. A lot of times these triangles will turn into kind of little mini descending triangles, but they're kind of a consolidation triangle. Sometimes this will look like a head and shoulders inside this. So you see a lot of different patterns going on. The main thing I focus on, guys, is my volume studies and my on-balance volume studies. I have upper and lower VWAP here. My green dotted line is the middle VWAP, and then I have upper and lower. These kind of act like overbought and oversold levels. Helps keep my lower chart a little bit cleaner so I can fit level 2 and time and sales inside for you guys. That is important to me. I also have a custom on-balance volume study that you can find on our blog, which will paint my candles a little bit differently. So you might see some strange blue candles or volume bars or yellow. those actually have some different meanings to them and show you some interesting stuff. But so check, pretty much what I'm looking at. Look for this consolidation, see what kind of pattern develops. I mean, there's a lot of wicks going on here. This thing rode the 9 for the pre-market. Would have been good if you got in early. I believe that news broke, well, it must have broke around 7 and then consolidated. That was really a good time to enter, get a little scalp in the pre-market. The volume was decent enough to maybe trade, 500,000 shares on something like that. But I do like the potential for this thing to form several different patterns. We'll have to watch and see how it develops. Really busting out over 285, or 281 I should say, would be significant. You do have the weekly 50 up around 291, and there's a bunch of candles that you would have to watch out for in terms of, oh, you see you got some weekly res way out here. You've got some weekly res out here as well. So, there's a lot of we're running into some overhead resistance here. But if this thing turns into a rising wedge, volume looks good, something ascending, that might be something we can trade. Oh, and CHEK. Final thought on CHEK. It did have a 6% short float, so that's kind of nice. That thing could actually squeeze a little bit more over 280, 281. All right, next one on the list that I want to talk about is Alt. So Alt had another biotech with news. They are acquiring a company. Let's see, I'm sorry, they're acquiring Spitfire Pharma. They're getting a payment. Looks like they might be actually buying some of the stock as part of the deal in the company, and they are a clinical stage bio company. They got that agreement going on, and transaction expected to close during July. And it looks like that is what's causing this move. So I've got a lot of lines on this chart because this one is a former runner. It is way off of its really high blow off daily candle range from the past. That was really good going back to March this year. You could see the volume really picked up and then it really dropped off, right? And it's been tapering off ever since. And you're getting a 50 SMA touch yesterday and a little bit of a pullback. I don't know if there's any news yesterday. There's probably some anticipation going on with this stock. So, to just quickly mark out where the 50 is, that is where the 100 is. The 200 is way up here. Oh, I already have a line on it. And you take a look, you can see that I'm actually going to have to mark. Is that where the 200 is? 338? Let's go back and look. Let's see, yeah, 354. I'm just going to make this one blue and larger and in charger. This one I'm going to make yellow. Try to make my bars thicker and sometimes match the colors. It's a little bit easier to know where those dailies are. Yeah, so there's your dailies. So you could see it tried to get up there close to the 200, pulled back, and now you've got this, well, what would you define this as? Really just kind of consolidating close to this 100, and you've got your momentum average on the 5-minute chart, 50 SMA picking it up with some decent volume. It's not as strong as you'd like to see going into the open, but sometimes stocks that are strong going into the open sell off massively, and sometimes stocks that are consolidating a little bit cleaner, not like a sell off. This isn't like a hard sell off. This is kind of a decent falling wedge, not too aggressive, and there's a chance or an opportunity for this to move higher. Again, the daily candle moved up towards the end of the day, and now we're in this kind of triangle. So we look for volume near trend lines, we look for volume near moving averages, near VWAP, to try to figure out a good place to place a trade. Looking at this 275 quarter value, maybe a pullback as low as 250, which is down near the daily 50. So this is something to really keep an eye on. I really like the volume. You know, it's done over 1 million shares, and the short float was 10%. So that gives it a really good chance for short squeeze. And if you're curious, what the heck is he talking about? Where is he getting these short float numbers? You guys can always go over to our website, and if you go up here and click on Trade Ideas Gappers, this is something I update every morning. I've got a 40-inch screen dedicated to trade ideas with all the different windows that all of our members get to watch. And this is on it all day, and you can go and look at the various short floats, the volume that's coming in. And typically I'll update this a couple times in the morning. I officially say I'll update it at 9:15. That's just in case, but just so you guys know, I'm usually updating it much earlier than that, and a couple times. So I'm liking the consolidation pattern on alt. These next few I'm going to go through a little bit quicker because some of these don't have news, but CLRB, currently on the gap scan, this had news. The news was FDA fast track for a drug that will diffuse large B-cell lymphoma. So that's obviously a very big disease, potential big thing for the company. Like a lot of biotechs that are going through these phases, they trade extremely choppy and they kind of grind lower over time. Then all of a sudden, some news starts to hit. The company might get new management, they might get some approvals, some different stages go through, and then the chart improves. So what we've seen with this is kind of this range where the stock's been trading between 122 and just about $3, right, from a low here. We're kind of in the middle of that range, and you can already see with hitting this $3 mark and pulling back that there's possibility it's saying, hey, maybe this is the algo saying, hey, hit the top of the range, now it's time to pull back, and this could trade down on the lower end of its range the entire time. So I drew these trend lines to kind of define the daily pattern, and now we have to see how an ugly chart like this behaves within the confines of these lines. We'll have to find some other pattern. Right now I don't like it at all. The volume's been dropping off. There's less interest. There's probably a lot less traders' eyes on it. But if this volume trend changes at any point, this could become something we can trade. So I'm going to leave it on the charts. And let's see, CLRB. Where did you move on my scanner? I'm just looking, and I'm not seeing it right now on the Trade Idea scanner because it moved so far down. So I believe this was a short squeeze and this had a high short float. Let me actually look at our other page real quick and see if I can find it. CLRB. Nope, not seeing it on there. At any rate, we'll keep an eye on that today. Next, let's talk about. Let's see. I went through CHEK, CEI. Did I do CEI? I didn't do CEI. What do I have on here? Yeah, I'm gonna do CEI for you guys real quick, and then I'll do SPY. CEI. So from the watch list, you can see the really nice Fibonacci levels I have laid out. Very tight grid to kind of show me mechanical support and resistance. You've got this big kind of like bull pennant forming here. And this might widen a little bit, but it's right up against this fib at 260. Volume is decent in the pre-market. We've got a kind of an inverse head and shoulders, cup and handle-esque pattern, potential to break out over 3. And I've got some former resistance up near 350 and 367. We've got some bigger supports around 157. If you take a look at the You know, this might have been it had to have been a reverse split, even though I'm not seeing it on here. It looks like this popped up above the 200, so there's a big support here at the 200. We want to identify that. And if you guys are doing this manually with Thinkorswim to identify these 200 SMAs, just know that there's another way to do it. And it would require potentially some extra screen space for you, maybe buying an extra monitor. But I highly recommend TrendSpider to everybody because you get multi-time frame analysis. I'm going to show you guys, I'm going to switch to some 10-minute candles. And look at that. We've got let's see, make sure that's the 9. Where the heck is the 200? 200 must be, oh yeah, it's below it. So let me switch to an hourly so we can make sure we see it, disable some other things real quick, like drawings. And, oh, that 200 still not showing there. I know we're above it. Sometimes you got to play with the chart to get it to show up. That is the 9. Oh, I see what's going on here. Let's see. There we go. That's the breakouts. 5-minute. And just so you guys know too, I am using the staging version of this. So I think maybe the way the 200 is being calculated right now is not accurate, because when I pull this is rare, but when I pull my mouse off the screen, it shows it at 49.50. So that's not right. I can see that number right there. That's why I'm having a hard time finding it. Nonetheless, I'm using a shorter time frame chart against a longer time frame moving averages, and this is going to be very handy. So you saw how I was snapping trend lines and price levels on Thinkorswim to mark those out. Well, this does it for you. So you might be a 5-minute chart trader, like I tend to be. I tend to use this for momentum. I also use some other time frames, but you have to look, because the algos are looking, other traders are looking at these daily moving averages. So if you know where they are and how they fluctuate and move in real time, you have an edge that potentially another trader doesn't have, which gives you the potential to make more money and get in and get out before they do. That's what it's all about, right? So that's CEI. We got 5 minutes to the bell. I'm going to take a look at a couple other, well, let's look at SPY just real quick. I did in the beginning of the stream when I hopped on in the trade room, and we have this really nice kind of falling wedge pattern. You know, SPY might double bottom on this and then run up. We could trade in this all day. That would be, you know, something tradable for you if you're a SPY trader. You know, day trading options, you'd really want to watch the volume carefully. We've got very, very light volume, with the exception of at 8:15, which might have been some news that came in there. And then, of course, Powell came on at 8:45. We got some volume uptick. So we'll have to watch this range today. I'm also going to be looking at EVOC from our watch list. This is our alert level. Our alert levels sometimes go off in the pre-market, guys. And typically what we like to do, if the volume doesn't suit trading it in the pre-market, is wait for some kind of pullback to a moving average. This thing has established itself as a nice uptrend in the last few days, and what you're seeing here is excuse me, I gotta clear my throat, is the classic megaphone pattern. It's got a classic vector moving up, and this volatility should continue to increase, and this range could widen and widen. Eventually it'll change. Eventually this will change, and we will get something else, a new pattern that will develop, or a new moving average. But Just looking at the hourly, this hourly has been moving very nicely. My on balance volume divergence study is showing me that there could be some pinching right here on EVOC, and we are very close to that 9 EMA and very close to the bottom of that channel. That's a perfect opportunity for bulls to take an entry and potentially get a nice gain. We could move up to the dollar range. Dollar range is most likely where I'd be looking to sell EVOC if the price action warrants it. So that is a really nice potential scalp today if you consider that this could be a 20% move today. It's a penny stock, but it's got a good setup. As long as it's clean, good setup, we can take it. So that's EVOC, that's alt. I've got about 2 minutes before the bell, so I'm going to shut down YouTube. Just concentrate on hopping in the trade room. You guys watching on YouTube, you guys want to join us. I'm going to be showing you guys how to use TrendSpider, showing you what happens with these charts, looking for opportunities, talking support and resistance, helping you guys out, answering questions, monitoring different scanners and trade ideas, and all that fun stuff. So on YouTube, guys, thanks for watching, and we will see you on the other side.